Jack, you said Kilmar had quite a bit of due process, so let's talk about that clearly, calmly, and truthfully. In 2019, Kilmar Abrego Garcia went before a U.S. immigration judge. He applied for protection. He testified under oath. He submitted more than 70 pages of evidence. The judge ruled that he could not be deported to El Salvador, only to a third country if one was found. That ruling was not appealed. It stood, and it was binding. That was the last time our country gave him our word. As a citizen, I pay attention to whether my government keeps its word, because if it won't stand by it with him, it won't with me. Fast forward to March 15th, 2025. Trump's DHS put Kilmar on a deportation flight to El Salvador. No new hearing, no court reversal, no motion to reopen, just a flight manifest and a shrug. DOJ admitted in court that it was an administrative error. A federal judge ruled it unlawful. The Supreme Court upheld that ruling, and Trump still refused to bring him back. That's not due process. It's not due process if the government ignores the last active ruling in the case. It's not due process if accusations are launched on social media instead of submitted to a judge. It's not due process if there's no new evidence, no hearing, no review, and the state acts anyway. He didn't get due process on the gang claims. He didn't get due process on the domestic violence claims. He didn't get due process on the trafficking claims. He didn't even get due process on whether his 2019 protection still applied. He didn't get due process, period. And now we've got Will Chamberlain saying, at a minimum, he should have had a credible fear interview. No, he shouldn't have. That's for people at the border with no record, no rulings. Kilmar had already gone through the full legal process. He didn't need a screening. He needed Trump to obey the law. And Jack, you repeated Will's framing. You pushed the line that he had plenty of process while sharing narratives that never saw the inside of a courtroom. Then there's the missed hearings claim. Will brought that up too. But what he's referring to, what the immigration judge actually wrote about, were missed traffic court dates, not immigration hearings. Kilmar didn't miss his immigration case. He showed up, argued it, and won. DHS didn't appeal. His protection wasn't revoked. He was deported anyway. So if he missed court, why did he win? Why didn't the government challenge the ruling? Why are we skipping the actual legal timeline and replacing it with Twitter commentary? If we're going to break our word, fine, just say that. I don't care if he's deported, but I won't pretend it was legal or honest. Trump didn't take it to court. He admitted it was a mistake. He still hasn't fixed it. And Jack, your Twitter feed doesn't change what a court already decided. If you think Trump was right to ignore the courts, then say that. Say Kilmar didn't deserve due process. Say the court doesn't matter. Say this is about power now, not process. Say this is a takeover and the law doesn't apply anymore. But don't say he had due process, because he didn't. And while we're here, let's talk about moral clarity. Will Chamberlain is a Zionist Jew. Laura Loomer is a Zionist Jew. I expect them to lie. I expect them to operate without moral restraint. But you, Jack, you claim to be Catholic. This is a lack of integrity. It's embarrassing. It is not Christian. It is not Catholic. We are all sinners, myself included. But what you're doing here crosses a line. I'm in your mentions because I respected you. Do better. This isn't political gamesmanship anymore. This isn't social media theater. If you think the courts can be ignored because the movement is bigger than the Constitution, then stand on it. Own it. But don't lie. Don't hide behind crosses and chants while you cheer executive defiance of the law. Your Christ is King chants ring hollow for me, because Christ is King. And Christ stood silent before a rigged court while the mob cheered. He didn't fight for Caesar. He stood for truth, the one thing you're refusing to do right now. So stop pretending this was process. It wasn't. Stop calling it justice. It wasn't. Stop saying Christ is King if you're going to serve the state like it's God. Because if the president can violate the courts and disappear a man whose protection was still active, then we are no longer under law. We are under narrative. And if you're fine with that, say it. But I'm not going to help you lie about it.